Welcome to the deep dive. Right now, we're soaking in the vibrant energy of Hong Kong, taking in this iconic skyline, the bustling streets.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's really got us thinking about how much this city, this amazing place, has transformed over the past decade.
It really has. So much change.
So today, we're embarking on a journey through those transformations. We want to trace the profound shifts in its political landscape, observe the evolving rhythm of daily life.
And really grapple with what it all means for the identity of its people.
Exactly. Using various accounts and observations we've gathered along the way.
It's definitely a city in flux.
Yeah.
And understanding its recent past, well, it requires looking at many facets, doesn't it? Our mission here is to delve into how Hong Kong has genuinely changed since those pro-democracy movements in 2014 and 2019.
Right.
And what all of that means for its fundamental character, its spirit, and the perspectives, as we'll see, they vary dramatically.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Maybe starting with Kenneth's experience. He used to stroll through Victoria Park.
Right, a real focal point.
Yeah, exactly. A focal point for the city's resistance. As a kid, he'd buy calligraphy posters from pro-democracy politicians at the Lunar New Year fair there.
Wow.
He openly commemorated Tiananmen at those massive totally unlike the mainland.
But key difference.
But now, those vigils, they've ended. The politician stalls at the fair, gone. Protests silenced, campaigners jailed. He feels his political coming of age, and Hong Kong's too is just being erased.
Yeah.
He actually said, quote, "Our city's character is disappearing."
And that's so striking, isn't it? How his personal experience just mirrors the broader historical context.
Yeah.
I mean, when Hong Kong was handed back in '97, it was under that promise, one country, two systems.
Right, the 50-year guarantee.
Assuring rights like free speech, assembly, rule of law for 50 years. But as Beijing's influence grew, well, so did the friction.
You saw it with the 2014 umbrella movement.
Occupy Central, yeah. Tens of thousands demanding democratic elections. Figures like Joshua Wong, just a teenager then.
17, yeah.
And Professor Benny Tai, they were central. And that movement, it really fueled the more explosive 2019 protests.
Which started with the extradition bill.
Exactly. Even after they scrapped the bill, it just intensified, became this widespread demand for more democracy, a real challenge to Beijing's authority.
And the implications of that growing control became, well, sharply apparent with the crackdown that followed.
Absolutely.
The national security law, the NSL, came in. Now we have the newer Article 23. And it's truly remarkable, I think, how quietly the trials of figures like Benny Tai are happening now. Jailed for subversion, him and 40 others.
And Jimmy Lai, too.
And Jimmy Lai, that fierce critic, on trial for allegedly colluding with foreign forces. It's such a stark contrast to the massive public protests that led to these charges in the first place.
Yeah, it really is. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Beijing defends these restrictions, right? The NSL, they say it's essential for stability.
And that other nations shouldn't interfere.
Exactly. External nations have no right to question its laws. But the critics, well, they argue this fundamentally reneges on the 1997 deal.
Weakening the courts, muzzling democracy.
Right. Chen Kinman, co-founder of Occupy Central, he's now in exile in Taiwan after serving jail time. He expressed a heavy heart. Said after 2014, maybe there was still a possibility of change, but now he feels Hong Kong has become no different from other Chinese cities. He even felt he'd failed, personally.
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah. But he keeps going, writing and teaching about the protests. Perseverance.
And Kenneth, back to him, he observed that Hong Kongers now have to, think twice about what they say out loud.
Self-censorship.
Adapting to a normalized state of surveillance, he called it. He mentioned these red lines, the often unspoken boundaries.
Yeah, hard to know where they are exactly.
Exactly. They're difficult to ascertain. And we've seen examples, T-shirts, social media posts, even children's picture books leading to sedition charges.
It's chilling.
It really makes you wonder about the everyday chilling effect this must have.
Which brings up a really important question, I think. Is this current situation, is it just an inevitable outcome of one country, two systems sort of evolving? Or is it a deliberate, clear deviation from the spirit of '97? I'd argue, given the specific examples, the quiet trials, dismantling public protest spaces, jailing key figures, it leans heavily towards a deliberate deviation.
Yeah.
It feels systematic.
That's a strong case for deliberate deviation, definitely. But I wonder, isn't there also an argument that, well, an accelerated evolution was maybe kind of inevitable given Beijing's growing power?
You mean the tensions were always there?
Yeah. The sources say Beijing sees it as bringing stability, right? It's contentious, sure, but the framework itself, it always had these inherent tensions.
Sure.
And perhaps the scale and intensity of the 2019 protests just pushed it past a tipping point, led to a faster consolidation of control from their perspective.
So not a betrayal in their eyes, but a reassertion.
Maybe. A reassertion of what they always believed was their ultimate sovereignty. How do we balance those two views? It's tricky.
It is tricky. And what these contrasting views really underscore isn't just about Beijing's intent, perhaps, but the fundamental tension baked into one country, two systems from the start.
A tension now playing out very vividly.
Exactly. Against the backdrop of shifting global power.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But your point about reassertion versus deviation. Well, for me, the retrofitting of laws, applying them retroactively, that still points more strongly to a deliberate strategy than just passive evolution.
Okay, fair point.
But look, let's shift gears a bit. These big political tremors, they've inevitably sent ripples through daily life, right?
For sure.
So how are these deeper changes showing up in the everyday lives of Hong Kongers? Let's turn there. We've seen some fascinating accounts. People observing streets are quieter at night.
Yeah, less busy and non-touristy spots on weekends.
More empty storefronts.
Yeah.
Shops catering more to locals now.
That observation about quieter streets, it really resonates with what I've seen just walking around here in Hong Kong this trip. It does make you ask, beyond the obvious reasons, what else is feeding into this shift in the city's rhythm?
Well, the reasons given are multifaceted, like you said. Lingering COVID effects definitely played a part. It's killed the motivation for going out.
Plus the government maybe being slow to reopen.
Right, that too. But a huge factor, mentioned a lot, is the rise of Shenzhen. Just across the border.
Shenzhen.
It's full of new malls, clean spaces, cheap food, activities. It seems like these external factors combined have really hit Hong Kong's retail and nightlife hard.
You know, having spent time recently in both Hong Kong and on the mainland, the tech integration and sheer efficiency, especially in places like Shenzhen, it's just striking.
It is impressive.
Almost overwhelming how much development there is up north. How much do you think that specific dynamic plays into Hong Kong's current struggles, especially nightlife, when you hear about like $140 mediocre cocktails here?
Or the $70 mediocre lunches.
Right. It almost makes you think Hong Kong's new slogan should be bring your own lunch.
Well, you're right. The innovation in Shenzhen is a huge draw. But I'd argue it's not just about shiny new things.
Okay.
There's this clear sentiment in the sources about high prices for, well, mediocre quality in Hong Kong. That value proposition seems to have shifted.
Making cross-border trips more appealing.
Way more appealing. It's not just spending less, it's feeling like you get more for your money.
Yeah.
That feeling of being sort of done with the overpriced, underwhelming stuff here, that's a really strong current.
That's a very fair point. Value is key. And speaking of the economy, the job market's shifting too, right? We heard about an unspoken hiring freeze in IT. And Mandarin becoming more of a requirement for jobs. That's a very direct impact on people's careers.
Definitely. And what's also fascinating are the shifts in personal habits people described. More WFH flexibility, apparently leading to less stress, more productive work for some.
Interesting.
And those cross-border day trips to Shenzhen, they're becoming like mini holidays.
An escape valve?
Yeah, an escape without the hassle of flying. And the absolute major game changer seems to be the HK-bought SIM cards.
Oh, yeah.
Allowing seamless Google WhatsApp access in mainland China. That apparently transformed the experience of popping north.
That seamless connectivity, I've experienced it myself, actually. And it is liberating.
Right.
It totally changes the perception of traveling north. It makes those comparisons between here and mainland cities way more direct now. It's less about, navigating a digital firewall.
And more just direct competition.
Exactly. Direct competition for entertainment, shopping. It definitely removes a barrier that used to make visiting the mainland feel like entering a totally different zone.
Also, while it's incredibly convenient for individuals, right, offers significant personal liberation, as you say. What does that mean for Hong Kong's own economy?
Good question.
If people are less stressed because they can just hop over to Shenzhen for these mini holidays and they're spending their money there, not locally.
It compounds the issues for Hong Kong businesses.
Exactly. It's kind of a double-edged sword for the city's self-sufficiency, wouldn't you say? Great for the person, maybe not so great for local commerce long term.
I absolutely see your point there. That short-term individual benefit could definitely have longer-term economic consequences for Hong Kong itself. Okay, so let's talk identity. Nostalgia. The future.
Right.
We heard from Kasumi Law. She moved to the UK primarily for her daughter's future.
Yeah.
She expressed this deep homesickness for Hong Kong, the shiny sea, the bustling energy. She even documented it in viral video diaries.
Wow.
And her return visit was really emotional, seeing changes like shops closed, hearing more Mandarin spoken.
And you contrast Kazumi's emigration, her struggle, with Kenneth's defiant decision to stay.
This is where my roots are.
Exactly. And Kenneth gets genuinely irritated, it seems, by the rhetoric from some who leave saying Hong Kong has died. His point is, its people are still here.
Right.
Which highlights this really strong point of contention about what Hong Kong even is now.
You know, I find myself really empathizing with Kasumi's homesickness. It must be incredibly tough leaving your home for your kid's future when that future feels uncertain where you are.
Absolutely.
But then you hear Kenneth, his fierce loyalty, saying forgetting the past is a form of betrayal. It creates such a compelling tension.
It does.
So is Hong Kong dead if its spirit lives on in its people? Even if the outward expression is different, I kind of lean towards thinking the spirit persists, just maybe in different forms.
That's a powerful point. And it really boils down to how you define Hong Kong, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is it the political freedoms?
Yeah.
The economic vibrancy? Or is it the collective memory, the identity of its people? Kasumi's daughter arguing, I'm not Chinese, I'm a Hong Konger.
That shows identity is alive.
Very much alive, even if it's being nurtured outside the city or, subtly within it. I'd argue that perhaps the Hong Kong people miss is a specific version of Hong Kong, one that has passed.
But the city itself adapts.
It adapts and continues. To say it's dead, maybe that diminishes the resilience, the adaptability we're actually seeing. It suggests a kind of simplistic binary, maybe.
I can definitely see that distinction, yeah. It highlights how subjective this whole idea of a city's death or transformation really is. And then you have those other comments. We saw some people saying, increased Mandarin everywhere, more mainlanders, the perception that real Hong Kong is done.
Yeah.
But contrasted with others saying, nothing changed for me personally, or it's still a great place to live.
And these differing views, they really highlight what you could call an identity crisis.
For sure.
But they also showcase how resilience manifests, right? Chen Qinman, despite feeling like a failure, he continues to teach in archives. Kasumi, even abroad, makes sure her daughter speaks Cantonese, understands her heritage.
Actively preserving that identity.
Exactly. It's not just about staying or leaving. It's about how people actively hold on to and shape that identity in a changing world. It's a testament, I think, to an enduring spirit.
What a journey, really, through the evolving landscape of Hong Kong. From the quiet disappearance of public dissent to the bustling yet clearly transformed streets.
And those deeply personal decisions people are making.
Yeah. It seems clear that while the city adapts, the spirit and identity of Hong Kongers, whether they stay or leave, remain, remarkably resilient.
Indeed. The story of Hong Kong in this past decade, it isn't just one of political change or economic shifts. Fundamentally, it's about memory, identity, and what it means to belong to a place that's constantly redefining itself. It really raises the question, doesn't it? Can a city's soul truly be erased? Or does it simply go underground, maybe, waiting for the right moment to reemerge?
That is a powerful thought to leave our audience with. We hope all of you listening or viewing enjoyed this exploration with us.
Yeah, hope it was insightful.
If you found this conversation insightful, please do make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support really helps us continue to bring you these in-depth looks at the world's most fascinating topics.
Definitely appreciate it.
Until next time, stay curious.